Get into the batteries, and we have us. We today we have among us the one of the eminent speakers. He is Professor Yogesh Kumar Sharma, who is currently leading the Energy Storage Laboratory at Department of Physics, IIT Roorkee. Uh, Professor Yogesh, can you please turn on your video so that the participants will get to see you? And once I introduce you, then you can again turn off the video and start your presentation. I think that would be.
No, no, it is already turned on.
Oh, yes, now I can see you. Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Since beginning, I started this.
Okay, thanks a lot. So, Professor Yogesh Kumar Sharma, he is primarily interested in uh, batteries and supercapacitors. He is working on synthesis and characterization of multifunctional and nanostructured materials backed by theoretical understanding of physiochemical phenomena and processes that occur at molecular scale in these systems. His research group is particularly interested in understanding the interplay between kinetic transport and the degradation phenomena of rechargeable batteries and supercapacitors under realistic operating conditions. And then based on this knowledge, they design and evaluate the electrochemically active materials and to conceptualize and develop new electrochemical processes and systems. Professor Yogesh has undertaken multiple research projects for development of high performance and economically energy storage devices. These include Indo-Taiwan project entitled as Development of Novel Hybrid Supercapacitor based on activated carbon. In this another project, he is working on solid state electrolytes for lithium ion batteries. Let me also take this opportunity to share with you all that he's also co-founded a company called Indie Energy, which is currently incubated in IIT Roorkee. And it's the company's vision is to best to build India's fiscal system self-reliant. Current emphasis of company is on developing next generation sodium ion batteries with high battery capacity and life cycle than the presently commercialized lead acid batteries. So with that introduction, I hand over the stage to you, sir. It's all yours now.
Uh, Thank you, Amit, for a big introduction, I would say, though it is not required, but anyway, it is because when you start any session, you always speak about the speaker, and I am thankful
Thank you,
to
sir. It's
you
actually my pleasure.
for my introduction, and I welcome every participants in this specific FDP program, and this is primarily on electrochemical energy storage systems. So I believe that in the past 3 days, you might have gone through in or last past 2 days probably, might have gone through the different processes, electrochemical processes. So today we will talk about another electrochemical device, which is we call batteries. Right. So before starting, let me share my presentation, and so how I will do that, I will speak about the my presentation, and then later we will have question answers. So considering multidisciplinary people from am I able to give my presentation
yes,
to
sir.
your screen?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay,
You can maximize the screen.
sure, sure. Right, right. Okay, well, so I will give some brief information about what these batteries are and what are the different types, what are the challenges we need to look for, and what are the opportunity as a nation in batteries. So I will give brief introduction of batteries, and then really can we be a nation which can really compete with the China and Korea, Japan, US in manufacturing. So as Amit introduced that we also started a company where our intention is to make India self-reliant, and my always interest is to make our own battery systems. So this is a good platform to tell all the faculty members or who are the participants in this course that if you are interested in batteries, I mean, which side or which specific area we should look for so that India will be self-reliant. Okay, so I kept this presentation very basics, and I hope it will be interesting. Then you will be able to understand it thoroughly. And if you have any questions, we will discuss later. Right. So batteries, you know, it's energy storage systems. So whenever we talk about energy storage, there is always need of energy resources. So if we look at humanity's top 5 problem for the next 100 years, energy, water, food, environment, and poverty. And energy, water, environment are closely related. And because there is a steady growth of world population and then improvement in the quality of the life of the world, therefore, energy is going to be very challenge to provide energy to every possible person with adequate amount. So eventually you need to look for various energy storage, energy resources. So when we talk about energy resources, you could see we have two types of energy resources. One is renewable energy and another is non-renewable energy. Maximum energy production is coming from non-renewable energy. I'm sure that you know renewable energy and non-renewable energy. The renewable energies are where you don't have any specific adverse effect or no byproduct. So it remains same. So whatever the source you have, it remains same, even it is being utilized. That is a renewable energy. Non-renewable energy means you need to take something and then byproduct will come in terms of smoke, in terms of huge pollution. So all these renewable, non-renewable energy resources are not of our cup of tea. So, and if non-renewable energies are being used, then definitely it has an adverse effect on our planet and ultimately human body. So every country, lab or big lab, everybody is looking for how to utilize these renewable energies, right? So in government of India also is very much keen to utilize renewable energies. So renewable energies can be utilized significantly. So if you look at the energy generation and renewable energy in India, you could see that 54.2% is from coal, and then we have hydro, then gas, nuclear, diesel, etc. So this whole energy production, as per Government of India, we have around 22% of renewable energies, which means we have wind, solar, bio, and small hydro. So they come under renewable energies. So in that sense, Government of India is trying to reduce the production of energy from coal, and it want to have this green area more. How to do that? And if you look at 2027 forecast, India aims to have a renewable installment of 275 gigawatt of solar energy, 72 gigawatt from hydro energy, and 100 gigawatt from wind energy. But it is not only forecasted. Government of India has installed so many of renewables solar cells, but the intermittency in supply of a power is a big problem. And mismatching in load and demand, the power generation and demand, is again a problem. So to overcome this mismatching, the problem of mismatching, energy storage banks are really required. So if we want to have a self-sustained or self-sufficient country in terms of energy production and its utilization, then batteries are one of the main component which has to be invented. New technologies should be invented, or manufacturing of batteries should be done within the country, right? For advanced batteries. Okay, so this means we have really importance of these batteries. Another very important transformation from combustion based vehicle to electric vehicle. Now you could see that number of bikes sold recently is around 22 million in 2018, and number of cars sold in 2018 3.4 million. Now you look how much energy is required for 100 battery is required for these vehicles, because we know we have to do it. The Government of India is committed to the Paris Agreement, where we have to have a major shift to electric vehicles by 2030, and the Government of India is rigorously looking for that, and they are promoting storage banks, energy storage devices to be invented. So in that sense, the electricity driven vehicles would become popular in future when battery technology becomes more compact, lesser density, longer lasting, and maintenance free. So now you could see it is everywhere. The possibility, if we want to make electric vehicles or if we want to have a power backups, we need to look for compact battery, longer lasting, and length density should be smaller. These energy density and power density we will discuss later. So I will briefly give some specification of batteries, how to identify whether this battery is good or bad. Okay. So now it is clear that we need to look for batteries, how to utilize them, how to manufacture them. If we talk about all type of applications, where you have homes, you have factories, you have nuclear power plant, you have thermal power plant, hydraulic power generation, photovoltaic, renewable energy, wind generator, ecological vehicle, cities and offices, everywhere energy storage is a main component for every application. So Government of India has done some survey, and what they said that we have total cumulative battery requirements is around 2,500 gigawatt hour, and the market is around 20 lakhs crore for only battery. So battery market in India is around 20 lakh crore. and the total energy requirement in terms of a battery is around 2500 gigawatt hour. So if that is so important, then we should know what actually battery is. So and how these storage devices can come into picture. So this is a type of storage and respective devices. So energy storage you can classify in general in 4 categories. One is mechanical, electric, chemical and electrochemical. So mechanical you can have underwater compressed air, wind power, chemical hydrogen network, hydrogen energy is being used. In electric you have capacitors. In electrochemical you have batteries, you have fuel cells, you have solar cells also. So dye-sensitized solar cells. So if you look at the right side of my slide, it is depending upon energy density and power density, they have been classified in terms of fuel cells, batteries, pseudo capacitors, and internal combustion engine. You could see where if I want to utilize any of battery to be replaced for combustion engine, then this energy density and power density must be here. So 10 to the power 6 and 10 to the power 3. So energy density and power density, you can have example that if you are a marathon runner, then you need energy. But if you are a sprinter, you can run only 100 meter, then power is required in that sense. So energy, and this is a good representation over here, energy and power. So energy, you need energy for longer time. So that is energy. But power, huge of energy can be delivered in a very small fraction of time. Then those devices are power density enabled device. So now what actually batteries are? Battery is nothing but it is a cell or it is a device which has a specific chemical. The energy will be stored in that chemical, right? When you want to utilize that battery or cell, then this chemical again get changed and the charges will be extracted and then you can use those charges. So charge will be stored in a chemical when you want to charge it. Whereas when you discharge it, this material will be reconverted into some other form and charge will be liberated. So this is a battery. So what history of battery you have in, I mean, it is not very new, but it is in fact started in 1839. And I am happy to tell you that battery were used for some bulk cart in New York. That time no one made steam engine. Only battery were there. No steam engine was there. So the bulk cart was operated by a battery because we did not have a engine that time, steam engine that time. So, or any Carnot engine also was not there. So if you look at the modern battery started in 1839, which was fuel cells, then you could see that first electric vehicle came in existence in 1881. Then 1899, nickel cadmium alkaline batteries came. Edison was the one who invented that. 1949, again lithium batteries came into picture. 1988, nickel metal hydride batteries came into picture. I will briefly discuss what those batteries are. And then Sony company has introduced a battery in 1990. It was commercialized in 1991 for portable applications. For electric vehicles, prototypes were developed in 1999. Then satellite equipped with lithium SAPT in 1999. And then Belcore plastic lithium ion batteries started in 1994. And it was lithium polymer batteries commercialized in 2000. And since then, we have many variants now. And once you know that real size prototypes came into picture later, so since then it's of course 40 years since 1980. The first commercial battery came in 1990, so it's almost 30 years, just 30 years, and you could see how much world has been changed by battery. And because of that, last year the Nobel Prize was given to those people who invented lithium ion batteries: Professor Goodenough, Yoshino, and Wintingham. So these three people got Nobel Prize in lithium ion batteries, because you can see that in the last 30 years was based on ionics. Before that, people were talking about semiconductor electronics. So present scenario will be based on electronics plus ionics. So electron and ion must be clubbed together to revolutionize every possible your appliances. So all now you can say that why you are thinking every mobile batteries. I mean, you could see that when the battery came in a small or compact form, then everything got changed. Now you can think that if battery would have not been here, what could have been this our today life? Do you think this Facebook could have worked this way, which we are doing these days? Internet would have been done like this? No. Without it would not been possible. That's why this Nobel committee understood it and they gave Nobel Prize. Now you can say information technologies versus energy storage kinetics. So Moore's law is for doubling of the capacity every 18 months. In our area, batteries, that the capacity will be doubled in every 18 months. So it started with lead acid, then nickel cadmium, nickel metal hydride, then lithium ion. So you can see starting years. So advances in battery research are always restricted by chemistry. Means whatever the electrode materials or are, they will be main compound or main component on which a battery research is going on. Another one, field of batteries move at a glacier pace. You have to have a new material, a new technology by which anything which is required in terms of energy and power will be matched. So these are the comparison when you talk about energy storage devices. Now, what actually batteries is? So the first battery is lead acid battery. In 1859 it was made, and it is at our home appliances. So whatever you have at home, home in the sense your car batteries, your inverters at home, they are based on lead acid batteries. What lead acid batteries? There is a, you have two electrodes, positive electrode and negative electrode. So what happens then when this, there is a H2SO4, sulfuric acid with water. Remember, we need to add some water if it is getting dried. So that is nothing but H2SO4 and water is electrolyte, and lead sulfide becomes lead and PbO2 becomes PbSO4. So these are the electrodes which basically a lead. So lead acid battery, lead and acid. So that's why lead acid batteries. Lead acid batteries problem is that it is only of 2-volt battery. If you want to have a higher voltage, it has just 2 volt. So energy density and power density of lead acid batteries is very small. That's why for an inverter it has to be in 50 kg, 60 kg, like that. I mean, a household small appliances will be better than having a big battery at home. So that's why it is not handy. So you cannot utilize it for longer time if you want to get it replaced from one position to another position. So the reaction, but it is not expensive. Lead acid batteries are not expensive. It's acid and the value of your lead. But the problem with this, that it is of low energy and it also have less number of cycles. We will discuss what do you mean by cycle. Reaction in the solid state. I mean, there is a reactivity with the electrode, so electrode get corroded. So both the systems does not work. So this was about lead acid battery. Next one, in 1909, nickel cadmium battery came, which is and these are the, I mean, I'm talking about the reversible primary and secondary. Primary batteries which are not chargeable, secondary batteries which are chargeable. So these are the example of chargeable batteries. Another chargeable batteries in nickel cadmium batteries. In nickel cadmium batteries, there is a material called nickel hydroxide and cadmium hydroxides. So, but cadmium is toxic. So this battery also could not work for longer time, but it has a potential of 1.2 volt. So this battery is made up of 1.2 volt. Now you could see that how this voltage comes. Voltage will be decided by what are the oxidation and reduction taken place. So if that is a difference between oxidation and reduction at a material, if it is giving you 1.2 volt difference, then the output voltage battery is 1.2 volt. It can have a long calendar life, means its longevity is high power. It can be used in hot and cold everywhere, every condition. Good cycling behavior, but again, it's a specific energy or energy density is just 35. It is a self-discharge. It can, you just put it for a while, it will be self-discharge. So that battery has these problems, but it is also a commercial battery. Then this battery, this cadmium was a toxic. So this cadmium was replaced by metal hydride in this case. So it was replaced by some metal. So it becomes 1975. There are two insertion reaction. One is nickel hydroxide and another one is metal. So this H2O, it will change to MHX. So in this case, again, it is a 1.2 volt battery. It has excellent volume energy, good cyclability, safe. So this nickel metal hydride battery were being used in all camcorders since I think till 2010 or 2010 or 2015. Only this nickel metal hydride battery were being used in all camcorders or all your still cameras. So this was very popular in those days till 2015, I think. Then lithium batteries. In these batteries, what happens? That you have a host which is a cathode, another one is anode. At cathode, lithium will be liberated and then it will go through the external circuit and react with the lithium. So ultimately, and the ions will go through the inner circuit. So when you talk about the band structure, so band structure in this case, you have LiMO2. So reduction takes place at this position, oxidation takes place at this position. So this potential difference is a chemical potential or a Fermi energy of a system. So this will decide that how much energy can be inserted into the compound, right? So these are about the lithium batteries. In this case, lithium metal is being used. Okay, just remember. Then when rechargeable batteries, these lithium batteries was rechargeable, then what happens when you discharge it? This lithium metal will be crowded by some dendrite formation, and this dendrite formation will takes place like a needle type structure will form, and then it will puncture your separator and explosion will be taken place. So this battery was not commercialized in a better way. Then it was replaced by lithium ion batteries. Lithium batteries is different, lithium ion battery is different. So remember, lithium ion and lithium battery both are different. In lithium ion system, which is a rocking chair system, we have a cathode, which is a lithium cobalt oxide, and this side we again have an insertion material. Rather having metal, this metal is replaced by a compound in which lithium can be inserted. So this insertion will be reversible. So in this compound, LiXCO2 and LiC6, these are the two compounds. In 1990, Sony introduced, Sony company, they made safe, cost-effective power energy, and the potential is 4 volt. This potential was around 4 volt. Remember, lead acid battery 2 volt, but lithium ion batteries is 4 volt. And then nickel cadmium 1.2 volt, nickel metal hydride again 1.2 volt. So this is based on lithium ion, or we call rocking chair. Extraction of lithium takes place from one material and insertion will takes place into another one. So this way this whole batteries takes place. Now if you look at Ragon plot, this is a way to define how we can have a specific power or specific energy. So lead acid battery, lithium ion is here, lithium polymer is here. So these all different company has made different materials, and then they introduce how to get this energy density and power density. Okay. Now what do you mean by anode? What do you mean by cathode? What happens? Anode cathode means plus. During discharge, cathode takes place plus, anode becomes minus. So cathode is positive and anode is negative. Sometimes it depends upon what specific nomenclature you are taking or what specific things. During charge, every electrode becomes different. During discharge, another, it will be just reverse. So let us not look about what happens. So in this case, I want to have okay. So this we have a potential. The x-axis has a difference in potential between cathode and anode. So this is a 1.2 volt getting down and then like this way, and then number of electrical charge exchanged in coulombs. This means an electron will be liberating from a system which is a electrode material, and then how many of number of charge are exchanged, that will be decided by that how much amount of energy is being stored into that system. So this is a discharge state. Now when you charge it again, this is discharge. See, then this specific charging, the blue colored one, is lead acid battery, nickel cadmium, nickel metal hydride, nickel hydride, or lithium. Every happens, this type of behavior occurs in terms of in secondary batteries. Alkaline batteries came into existence in 1950, which is a zinc MnO2 battery. and these are not rechargeable. These are still being used in child toys. So these toys are based on zinc and manganese oxides. These are the primary batteries, and you have a aqueous solution inside it. So this will happen. This MnO2H plus will react, MnOH will form, and then zinc becomes Zn2 plus. So this oxide couple oxidation anode, reduction at cathode, two ions or two electron will be changed in this case. That's what the total value of exchange of charges takes is like two electron will be extracted. Now, if you look at I had discussed nickel cadmium, metal hydride, lead acid, and then nickel metal hydride. Why lithium is so good, and what are the important characteristics we should look for? Lithium metal, if you talk about, the most reducing metal is minus 3.04 volt, right? Lithium has a small atomic number which is just 6.94, and if you look at the Coulomb's law, you remember this, your Faraday's law, sorry. What Faraday's law is that every molecular 1 mole equivalent will have 96,800 Coulomb charge. That is a Faraday's law. So if you have a smaller molecular weight, then weight is small but charge is same. For example, talk about gold and talk about hydrogen. So 1 molar will have the same amount of charge stored. That is a Coulomb's equivalent. So in that sense, lithium is the third one, right? Molecular atomic weight is just 6.94. So you will start with lithium is the third element. Before that, you have just a hydrogen. Hydrogen energy is sometimes is difficult to use in a battery system. Though fuel cells of hydrogen is being used, where splitting of water takes place. So in this case, we have the lightest material element, lithium, which is a very ductile in nature. So equivalent amount of energy will be extremely high for lithium, that is 3860 ampere hour per kg. If you compare with sodium, potassium, zinc and lead, it is less. But so maximum energy density in a lithium is taking place. Now you could see how to get the voltage. You have zinc, which is around minus 0.5. MnO2 charge is around 1, so this difference is 1.5 volt. In lithium MnO2, 0, and this case minus 3. So in that case, 3 volt batteries will be taken place. Now how to define what is a potential and what is a capacity? Potential means what are the different nature of redox couple takes place. Redox couple means reduction and oxidation, and degree of advancement of the reaction. Capacity is Coulomb, which is a Farad in ampere hour. So nature of the redox couples or amount of material. You can define the potential is exclusively based on redox couple, and capacity exclusive depend upon. Just hold on, I have him actually called. Sorry. Sorry, there was actually there was an urgent call from deputy director. So
Professor
capacity,
Sharma,
yes.
can you please minimize that window which is there on the top right? I think few people are not able to see the presentation properly.
Is it?
Yeah, no. There is one minus sign that you can see, which is actually for minimization of that window. Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Right?
That's
Yes.
correct. Thank you. Please go ahead.
So potential and capacity, these are the two very important characteristics for any battery. How to define a potential and how to define a capacity. If we want to define a potential of a battery, this is a difference between a oxidation potential and a reduction potential between two electrodes. So ultimately, the nature of redox couple, at what potential it occurs, that will be decided by what is the chemical potential of each electron, right? And how does the reaction takes place. So that will be deciding factor for potential or voltage. Whereas in terms of capacity, how much farad, how much redox, how much coulomb is stored, that will be decided by a material, that how much amount of material is taken place. For example, 1 gram of lithium, how much energy? 1 gram of gold, how much energy? Now you can say that the total amount of weight becomes, because if gold is 100 times more atomic weight, so the capacity will be 1 by 100 of the in terms of gold, whereas lithium will be 100 times more capacity. So that is the difference between capacity and a potential. Let's say I want to increase the potential and I want to increase the energy. How I will do? I can do two things. This is a discharge. This number of charge is being extracted or inserted. This is energy. Potential multiply with charge. This is energy. Right? V into your charge. So potential versus number of electrical charge exchange, that is energy. Okay. This energy can be correlated with the Gibbs free of energy. So Gibbs free of energy, it is related to your combustion. If it is a combustion, then del H for combustion. But in this case, because it's electrochemical systems, so this will give you del G, that is a change in Gibbs energy of formation, equal to minus NF del E. F is a Faraday constant, N is a number of charge being exchanged, and del E is a energy potential, your this specific potential difference. So then ultimately you will be having this energy. Energy can be increased if potential will be increased, right? This one is the, this energy is increasing. This way also energy is increasing. So now if you want to increase the energy of a device, either you increase the number of electrical charge being exchanged or you increase the potential. Both the ways energy can be changed. So this we call capacity, and this case the specific energy and specific power, the dimensions are watt hour per liter, watt hour per kg, volumetric capacity and specific capacity, volumetric or gravimetric. So volumetric, watt hour per liter, and specific or gravimetric, watt hour per kg. So energy and power, watt per liter and watt per kg. So for a good electric vehicles or for big systems, we need both energy as well as power. Now if we look at how to define a battery and what are the specific characteristics we should know if we are selecting a specific battery. So a specific battery selection will be done by what is a voltage, output voltage of a battery. Means a difference in potential from plus to minus in volts. That is a output voltage. Capacity, amount of electricity in ampere hour, Q equal to IT. I means ampere, the I is current, the dimension, this unit is ampere, and T is a hours, right? Ampere hour. Specific capacity, mass ampere hour per gram, volume ampere hour per liter. Specific energy, E equal to QV, mass energy watt hour per kg. Specific power, P equal to E by T. Charge discharge regime, capacity obtained in N hours. Charge discharge regime, C by N, means, what do you mean by that? Capacity, when you go to market, you always have this battery is in this much ampere hour. Even all mobile battery, their advertisement tagline is that my mobile has, or my company's mobile has, longer battery or high energy density. They always talk about we made 5,000 milliampere hour battery. What do you mean by that? The 5,000 milliampere hour means you have 5 ampere hour. 5 ampere hour means if you want to run a mobile at 5 ampere current, then it can run for 1 hour. So all your apps in a mobile, if they consume complete 5 ampere current, then this battery will run only for 1 hour. If you have all apps which can just utilize 0.1 ampere current, then you can say it will run up to 50 hours. So depending upon what usage you have, those batteries are being designed, right? So every bit you can design material, you can design a battery from micro ampere hour to thousand of ampere hour. I will tell you maybe in the next few slides that what is the requirement for specific for different applications to get some idea. Then lifespan, longevity, self-discharge, whether do you have any self-discharge or not, we always talk about when we go to the market. Self-life, maintaining the capacity in open circuit. So these are the properties by which we can find some numbers related to batteries on different batteries or market in battery. They look for these specific properties. So how to decide a battery capacity? So battery capacity is nothing but Q equal to, let's say, 1 Faraday. 1 Faraday is nothing but 96,500 coulombs. So 1 ampere hour, if I want to say I in coulomb, so coulomb into second, I equal to Q by T. So Q equal to IT, and I in terms of ampere current, ampere hour, 26.8 ampere hour will be in 1 lithium. So capacity, in terms of we want to calculate capacity for any system, that would be 26.8 into del X by M. M is a molecular weight of the material. So this is just a basics thing. This is a Faradic output, how to get a Faradic output of a battery. I don't know whether you know these things, but this will be deciding by this mean voltage, and you have what is a charge discharge. So QC charge, QD discharge charge. So Faradic output is a yield of electricity during a charge discharge cycle. So whenever you have a market, when you want to test a battery, you will always be looking of what is a Faradic output of a battery. Energetic output. Energetic output is E equal to del V dQ. The energetic output RE is the yield of energy of a charge discharge cycle, same EC by ED. That is energetic output. This is Faradic output. When Faradic means charge will be useful. In this case, energy will be useful. And power, Paregon plot, if you want to plot, that will give you dE by dt. And P equal to, P is a function of energy. So PV is energy, a function of EV. So on log plot, you can plot this charge discharge cycles having a constant times for discharge, which is a parallel to 45 degree. When you plot this, you will get that angle is always 45 degree. Lifespan in cycle, this total number of cycles. For example, if you want to charge a battery in the morning and then you again discharge and then charge. So charge and discharge, this will call one cycle. Right. So a battery span is in these days market. So lithium ion batteries is almost more than 1000 cycles or 500 cycles at least you can have in a good mobile. Though in Chinese mobile or local market, you can have your battery within 300 days. I mean 300 cycles will go. Or you can say 1 day for one battery. So very good batteries is 300 cycles. The poor battery may be 3 months. So 90 cycles or 100 cycles is more than sufficient for maintaining the quality for all bad type of mobiles or bad type of your battery. So these are just some examples. Now let us look. If we want to ride a pedelec or a bicycle, energy needed is 300 to 360 watt hour for a cycle. So this will give you 300 to 360 watt hour means 36 volt and 8 to 10 ampere hour. So which battery we should look for? We have lead acid battery, we have nickel cadmium battery, we have nickel metal hydride battery and lithium ion battery. So when you look at selection of a battery, lithium ion is 3 to 4 kilogram and lead acid battery is 13 to 15 kilograms. Now you can say that the size of the packs are related to the volumetric energy densities of the batteries, and that some battery packs, lithium ion particularly include electronics for battery management. So 3 to 4 kilogram still needs some battery management system, which is the electrical engineer people do. So based on different market value, I mean your requirements, we can design any type of batteries, right? So that depends upon how much weight we need to put or what is a voltage we want. So there is a actually trade-off between weight and energy. So in that sense, lithium ion is a better choice. So you can get some idea from this slide. Application wise, tentative range of battery storage parameters. Toys and gadgets. Voltage is required 2 to 3 volt. Capacity is required less than 200 milliampere hour. So around 10 watt hour is sufficient for toys and gadgets. Electric vehicles, 10 to 100 volt. Electric vehicles starting from your small bikes. 10 to 100 volt is required and capacity is required 25 to 200 ampere hour. So 30 to 50 kilowatt hour is required. Household batteries 5 to 25 volt and the capacity is required 50 to 100 ampere hour. So 10 to 20 kilowatt hour is capacity required for this type of. Now you can think that if you want to have electric vehicles, around 100 volt capacity voltage is required and then around 200 ampere hour capacity is required, and you need to have almost hundreds of cells connected in series and parallel to have this much of output. So when you have electric vehicles, combination of various batteries will make a problem. Okay. So these are the, this classification I already have discussed. If you talk about lithium ion batteries, what actually lithium ion batteries is, you have 3 electrodes, one side, this one, and then this one. So manufacturing we will be discussed tomorrow. So I'm not going into detail how to manufacturing the batteries. I'm just telling what are the basics of batteries, types of batteries. So in this case, you have 3 electrode, 2 electrode, and then you have a separator. So these will be separating out these two electrodes. Otherwise, just to make them disconnected. Disconnected means ionically connected but electronically disconnected. Otherwise, rather having current from outside, they will start going through the inside, and then it will be heating your battery, and then explosion takes place. So these are the different type of batteries we can have. We can have a cylindrical battery like this. We can have a pouch cell like this. We can have a sort of plastic polymer cell. We can have a button cell like this. We can have a grid type of can type of cell. So these different type of batteries can be made depending upon your application. So energy lithium ion batteries can be made in India. That is a very big questions to be asked when we talk about batteries. Let us see, if we want to have a battery cost per kilowatt hour is estimated by Government of India and Rocky Mountain Institute and with Bloomberg New Energy Finance Agencies. In 2010, 1 kilowatt hour was $1,000. By 2020, now it has been dropped down like anything. I mean, you can say that 2015 is really a year when the people start thinking that we can have our electric vehicles. Otherwise, before that, the expense, this lithium ion system was so much of expensive. So it is around 1,000 to drop down in just 6 to 7 years up to 300. And at 2020, we have around $200 per kilowatt hour. But if we want to have lithium ion battery, price has to go to 90 to 99, around $100 per kilowatt hour by 2025 here. And by 2030, it should go to 60 to $67 per kilowatt hour. So this is a prediction by Niti Aayog, Government of India, that if we want to utilize them in electric vehicles, so the cost of kilowatt hour battery has to be dropped significantly. Now, if you look at what we can do, component wise distribution, as I told you, you have a positive electrode, you have a negative electrode, you have electrolyte, separator, self-assembly, module assembly, and labor. Total cost. Then total cost goes to around 28% is a positive electrode. Positive electrode is lithium cobalt oxide or something else. Then you have different type of technology people using these days, and these are the different costs. So for cathode system, which is very important for lithium ion batteries, because lithium will be extracted from cathode only. So all batteries are cathode mediated batteries or cathode driven batteries. So lithium will be if you have more lithium, more energy will be stored. So essentially, cathode material is very important and backbone of a whole battery, because cathode is a source of lithium ion. Anode is a sink to lithium ion. So if you don't have source, your battery will not work. So cathode material are extremely important for lithium ion batteries. In this case, we can have different type of cathode material, and these are nickel, manganese, cobalt. These are the four compounds: nickel, manganese, cobalt. Three elements: nickel, manganese, cobalt, and lithium. These are mainly being used. These compounds are mainly being used. Another compound which is usually being used: manganese and iron phosphate. So lithium iron phosphate or lithium manganese oxides, these are other compounds, but so these are the main cathode material. So now let us see how much in our country, we are looking for around 25,000 gigawatt hour. So material for just 1 watt hour for cathode material, if we want to having a battery of 3.7 volt with 270 milliampere hour gram, then 2 gram cathode is required for 1 watt hour. So if we have 25,000 gigawatt hour, then the cathode material will be required 5 into 10 to the power 9 kg. 5 into 10 to the power 9 kg is required. So if, as per estimation, today's estimation, 1 kilogram is 25 to 45 US dollar for cathode material. So ultimately, cathode, if we want to have within India, we need to invest around 1,50,000 million US dollar for just cathode. Now let us see whether we have cathode in India. So this is a table made by Niti Aayog. India, here our country is. We don't have lithium, no single gram. Not a single gram lithium in India exists. Now you can think. Cobalt, no. Nickel, no. Manganese, we have a small. Aluminium being used as a cutter. So we have a small amount. Copper, we don't have. Graphite, we have. So lithium cathode, we don't have. Now you look at, if our whole batteries are lithium ion batteries, and our all electric vehicles are lithium ion battery driven, then where's the supply chain? So are we going in a correct direction or not? So this is a Niti Aayog data. I'm not saying it is my own data. It is a Niti Aayog data government of India has made. So what government of India said, that let us start in stages. We will do something in first stage. Then we will have some manufacturing plant in India in second stage. Third stage, we will have some alternative energy system. So that is a plan given by government of India. How far from reality? Cell production line we don't have. Not a single gram, single gigawatt hour factory we have in India. Every battery is coming in India from China, Japan, and South Korea. We don't have a single gram of lithium. We don't have any cell production capacity. We are assembling in India. We are bringing the cell, the small cell from outside. We are connecting them in series or connecting them in parallel and bringing them to a specific output. But we don't manufacturing any cell in India, because the cost which we made in our lab is more expensive than what we have in our market coming from China. So my lab level itself, we have higher cost than the market value. Of course, it will be different if it will be a commercial level, but at present, we don't have a single manufacturing line in India. So what are the advanced batteries we should look for? We have another battery, redox flow battery. Redox flow battery is also a technique, but in this case, we have low energy density, which is reported to be less than 10 watt hour per kg. And noble catalyst chromium is required for this system. So vanadium based systems are required, and iron chromium redox flow battery. These two type of batteries are in the market, but they are not commercialized yet. Another one is lithium sulfur batteries. People are doing these days. Again, because we don't have lithium, then this system will also not be applicable as far as India is concerned. Some another example is are compared with lithium ion. We have sodium, potassium, magnesium. And then when you talk about the abundance and cost of precursors, this is a material, this is a battery technology which we have to work for, and it is $150 per ton as compared to $5,000 per ton. And abundance, huge abundance. We have 23.6% abundant of sodium. And India, if we want to be self-reliant or Atmanirbhar, then this is a game-changing properties of a battery, sodium ion battery. Because sodium, we have huge coastal area. 38.7 gram of sodium can be obtained from 100 gram of salt. Extraction of sodium metal is very easy by Downs process, which can be done within the country. We have salt, we can extract sodium. So why don't we start doing sodium ion batteries, which is a self-reliant processing? And our company, we started doing this. So if you look at different cathode material, anode material, tomorrow I will discuss how to manufacturing a battery and what are the selection criteria we should look for if we start doing some research also. So research point of view as well as manufacturing point of view, we will discuss tomorrow. So these are the different cathodes, different anodes, and then prospective electrode material for sodium ion batteries is around this one. So we have started working in these areas and we are trying to make some batteries which are really game changing. So when we want to see our battery with the other lithium based battery, our battery cost is around 30% smaller. So 23 to 25,000. So our is 15,000 to 17,000 kilowatt per hour. Energy density is almost same. Only cycling stability is a problem these days. So we have to work on really on how to improve sodium ion batteries technologies. Government schemes for energy storage. Government of India is also looking for so many of uh, programs for storage, and that's everybody must start doing research so that India can be self-reliant. And in that sense, I would suggest sodium ion battery technology is really a make in India and self-reliant systems we should look for. And what Roorkee, IIT Roorkee can do in this case, we have a large number of faculty members working around in these areas. A state-of-art facility we have, battery cell fabrication, testing, troubleshooting, thermal management. Training courses for skill development in manufacturing of batteries can be done at IIT Roorkee. Prototyping development can be done. Consortia collaborative research with us can be done. So these are the facility which we have at lab. We can make different pouch cells. We can make different coin cells. We can test them. We can see how much heat is being liberated from the batteries and what are the testing facilities, what are how to approve, what are the conditions under which this battery will work from minus 40 degree to plus 100 degree centigrade. We can test everything. So we have EV accelerating rate calorimeter by which, so this we have decided, we have made these batteries. So state of art facility, and these are the prismatic cell which we made at IIT Roorkee with 3.8 volt and 340 ampere hours, milliampere hours we have made in our lab. So we have facility up to 2200 milliampere hour and we are working quite comfortably with that. If we have, I mean, our ancient has done it. Battery, Rishi Agastya made a battery and it is in Agast Samhita is given. So if our ancient made battery, why not we? So we have to really look for self-reliant system by which we can, and if all the people start working in some specific topics, particularly focused research, then definitely we will be supporting our country where all innovations can be done quickly. If individual will work, then it will take tens of years. But if all people together work on focused system, definitely we will be doing better for our own country. So with all, I thank you, acknowledge. I would like to acknowledge all our funding agencies who are supporting our research at IIT Roorkee. Thank you very much. So now session is open for question answers. Yes, Dr. Ravichandra, you have some questions, right? Yes, Dr. Ravichandra, do you have some questions? Dr. Amit? Yeah, if you have any problem, I mean, if you have any question, you please ask. You can switch on your mic and you may ask.
Morning, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Dr. Ravichandran, please.
It was blocked. I think I was trying to unmute. Okay, so myself, Dr. Ravichandra. Sir, before question, just I give introduction about this one. I did my PhD research on lithium-ion battery from University Technology Malaysia. So we used to get the lithium battery almost reasonable price from China. So I didn't see it like lithium-ion is going to be a kind of a problem for me. And then I did my all research on that, my PhD. But when I moved to India, so now working in India, so then I was having that question, so that whether lithium is going to be really a kind of an potential for India, that was the thing, because I'm trying to get the lithium battery for my further research. I was not getting a cell, I was not getting a kind of a raw kind of thing. I'm getting all is a ready-made thing, which is not useful for the research kind of thing. So this is what I had been for the last couple of years, I was wandering around. But I think from your session today, it was actually very excellent session. I would like to thanks for that. It was like I have a lot of information about that, and you started something like very basic from lead acid and then chemical composition, how it is. So very detailed things you have given. It's a very excellent one. But when it comes to the advanced level, when you are talking about that self-reliance one, when you talk really, this made me to change my mind. So actually, I really want to work. Maybe I will communicate to you later. So definitely, I want to work on sodium ion. This one, as you said, that's what we have a reservoir. So raw material, and then so we should work with the what material we have. Simply, we cannot import and then make it expensive. So our intention is to cross the China's market. So or else we will be giving up business to only China. So when it comes to electronics, when it comes to lithium-ion batteries, so they have been flooding around. But for us, definitely to be a self-reliance, I think we have to look around the alternative which is available in India. Thank you for giving that idea, and then you have been doing a lot of work, you told. I think I would like to ask for an opportunity to collaborate with your this one department or your cell, so that I also want to be part of that sodium ion battery this one research. So just
Sure,
I want
sure.
to thank
no
you.
problem. You may write to me. Maybe tomorrow we will have one more session. So I will share my email address, etc. So tomorrow we will give some more idea, and how to select a material actually, and how to manufacture the battery. So I will discuss tomorrow.
Okay. I think this word, MSME, so there are so many kind of, what is that, funds are available for setting, what is that, so startups or small companies and all. So we have been trying for different areas, but one huge area, batteries. So a lot of electronic gadgets looking for batteries, and then so we should be starting to produce our own batteries rather than import.
Sure.
And then
Sure,
so I'm very interested to do that. Thank you for that opportunity, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Sir, I have no question. I have a requirement. Sir, can you share this PPT to all?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I will share some of the important aspects, but not completely, because there are some important observations which I made my own. So I will share as maximum as I can.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Arunji, you want to say something?
Yeah. Good morning, sir. A very good presentation.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Dr. Arun Kumar. I'm working as a professor at SRM. So I did my PhD in Auckland University of Technology. So
Right.
I did additive manufacturing to fabricate the fuel cell electrode components. And just wondering whether these sodium ion batteries can be manufactured by additive manufacturing technique like selective laser melting or selective laser sintering, so that we can considerably reduce the cost of manufacturing. Because from engineering perspective, no, we can contribute to the society in that aspect. That's my wish. I would like to know what are the prospects, whether if how these electrode of the sodium ion batteries can be fabricated by the additive manufacturing technology. And also,
So see, whatever way you can make lithium ion systems,
yes,
the best beauty, if we are investing today in lithium ion manufacturing plant, immediately the same plant can be used for sodium ion battery. It's just a change of material, right?
Yes.
So everything is exactly same. Only raw material supply chain will be from India, for India, within the India. So that's why researcher in this area working as far as research is concerned. So why to waste our time? It is not going to support our own country. So my suggestions or my recommendation with everyone is, let us work on some system which will be giving us self-reliance.
Exactly.
And definitely there is a huge amount of publication as well. So as we all engineers, we should not look only for publication, but something will happen if you do patent, if you do something. So technology, everyone is looking for your technology, rather your paper. Hardly two people read your paper, but if you do some innovation, definitely your group or your institute will be benefited. So that's what I am always trying to say to every speaker, to every audience, that let us work together. It is not necessary. See, in last 40 years, only people were looking for lithium. But now, if we don't have lithium, then we have to survive. And survival can only be done if India will come together. Every researcher will come together and do some innovation.
Definitely.
Yes, good sir. Good sir. I do accept it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Sir, one more question I had.
Yes.
When it comes to a battery technology, so like there is a different kind of formation is there, like cylindrical is there, pouch is there, and then many other formations are there. So when it comes to, especially my work was on the thermal management. Okay, so like a hybrid cooling using a PCM and then water circulation tubes. This is how kind of thing for electrical vehicle. So that is what the kind of thing. But
Right.
which kind of a battery, so if you feel is having a better thermal dissipation, so is it like a pouch cell or cylindrical? Which one you feel like, especially vehicle?
No, for electric vehicles, people are saying this pouch cell will be better because pouch cell will be better because there is no metal.
Okay.
But connecting them, because when you talk of power density, when you want to charge at a higher current, then pouch cell may not be good. So it is a trade-off between that, what is the requirement for your applications.
Okay.
And that has to be done through your actually testing rather. So we have accelerating rate calorimeter. So whole pack can be put into a calorimeter, and we can identify how much current, how much heat is being liberated.
Okay. So in your term is like a quick charging pouch cell is not a good idea. So
yes, for pouch cell, quick charging is not a good idea.
It should be a cylindrical. Cylindrical is
yes.
a better. Huh?
Yes, cylindrical is a better.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So anyone else want to ask something? So if everything is done, then I want to close this session, and we will meet tomorrow for how to manufacture batteries, etc. Amit, are you around?
Yes, Professor. Any more questions participants would like to ask? I think questions have already been raised. So thank you, Professor. It was indeed a very nice talk. At least all of us got, enlightened with what a battery is, how it works, and the possible fabrication methods, whether we can fabricate a particular type of battery within our country or not. So that information was also very useful to us, and I think that will kickstart some interests among ourselves in putting efforts in this kind of electrochemical devices and storages as well. So with that, I'd like to thank you, sir, and all the participants as well. So we'll have a quick break, and we'll come back and start our next session at 11:30 hours. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.